Hello and welcome to Homescreen. I'm 𝗣𝘂𝗹𝗀𝗲𝗲, Product Manager here at 11FS Pulse. In today's episode, we are joined by Coen Horrevoets, Head of Concept, and Daniel Kolkman, UX Designer at Yolt. Hello both, how are you both doing?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Very good. Good to be here.
Yeah.
Well, it's really great to have you guys on, especially so close to your release of the evolution of Yolt and the new Yolt card. So could you just start off by explaining a little bit about what Yolt do?
Yeah, Yolt is a smart money platform. So we've been in market since 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the days, we started off as account aggregation only. And on top of that, we evolved ever since. We evolved in insights, actions. And with the latest evolvement, we are going into the territory of payments with a Yolt account and a Yolt card, all with the intent to make people more smart with the money, give them better financial insights, and at the end of the day, bridge the gap from the saving intentions to the saving habits. Okay,
great. And in terms of your roles, what do you guys do? Let's start with Daniel.
My role is basically a designer within Yolt. I'm responsible. I'm in multiple teams, responsible for basically the UX design and the visual style of how we want to do it in app, and guiding the user through the separate journeys. That we're also going to see today. That's on my side.
Yeah, my role is head of concept, so managing the concept team, which is a team of customer journey experts, UX design, UX research, and some business development. So with us as a team, we are in charge and control. Well, it's all a team effort, obviously, of the product strategy of Yolt. So our team is set up with these roles. All the people in this team work together in a team with the product owner, engineering, data scientist to make it all happen.
Okay, great. And what kind of team size are we looking at here?
So the concept team is around six people. We have 4 product squads, which are different size. So some are fairly big, some are a bit smaller. I think in total we've got a workforce of 150 people working at Yolt, but that's over the entire business, including Yolt app and Yolt technology services.
And in terms of Yolt's target audience, what do the demographics look like there?
So Yolt is always focused on helping people save, right? So even from the beginning, the main thing with Yolt is help people be smart with the money. So that's our main focus. And of course, we have a specific, we have a target audience. I think normally it will be, let's say, 18 years to 34 years that we specifically target. But it's always the main focus is to help people with their money and be smart with them and help them save as much as possible.
Sure.
So that's the main target that we are guiding towards.
Yeah. So congratulations on the launch of the Yolt card and the Yolt evolution as we're seeing it now. Can you tell us a little bit about the decision that led to the relaunching of your existing product? Yeah,
well, so it's an evolution of what the Yolt app already was. So ever since we were in market, we're constantly evolving the app. With its latest evolution, we really want to bridge the gap between saving intentions and saving habits. So that led to the improvement. We do have a clear understanding of our target audience. People say that they have a motivation to save. They know how to save, but they have troubles getting into the habits of saving. And that's where we want to help people with, and that's where this insight is coming from. That all happened before the pandemic, but actually the whole pandemic and the change in the context makes it even more relevant. So we really found that we have a problem to help people to be more smart with the money, and nowadays it's even more important than it was a year ago.
Yeah, for sure. And if you could just outline the most substantial changes to the product.
One of the big changes that we now have, so there are 3 parts, right? So the main part is that we now offer a Yolt account in addition to a Yolt debit top-up card. And that will drive also the savings. So in addition to that, we have created, we call it the money jar, where we collect all your savings from different parties, different kinds. So you can see as a user, you can see, okay, where is my saving going? How much did I save so far with Yolt? So we really have an indicator of what you can do actually with the Yolt card and with the Yolt account.
Okay, great. And so is that a prepaid card?
Yes, correct. So it's a prepaid top-up card that doesn't affect your credit score.
Right.
So there's certain situations also that we saw also with our target audience that we don't want to affect their credit score and any changes on that.
Right.
So yeah, top debit card, and that will help you save if you use it. You can use it with different kind of methods that will help you save.
I think you might have touched on it earlier, Coen, but so these changes, these were brought about by the customer demands that you've been seeing already in behavior.
Yeah, that's correct. So we were already helping people to be smarter with their money, and now with these changes, we want to make that more actionable. So we really want to activate people to change the way they, or change their abilities actually to set aside money.
Yeah. So this was launched late last year, and what was the feedback been so far?
Well, we've done extensive research from the beginning. So we started small with concept testing, usability testing. It was around August that we launched the product in a closed beta. First friends, family, later on a community group of up to 500 people. In that group, we had a mix of existing Yolt users and new Yolt users, or people who are new to Yolt. The feedback from the existing users was that it is a logical evolution. They love it, but they came to Yolt at the first place for the aggregation and the money management functionalities. The addition of the card and the account, that is something we had to change the narrative a little bit on for existing users. So at first, the card in our test was mandatory. The account was mandatory. Currently, we changed that narrative for users who were already in the product to make the physical card optional, but the Yolt account is still there. With the Yolt account, that is instrumental for us to have a venue where we can actually accumulate all the savings people are getting.
So what was that change where you decided that the existing Yolt users wouldn't have to get the card? Was that from the response that you got from them in these closed beta?
Yeah, that was one of the learnings from the closed beta. So the response was overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah.
But the feedback from the existing users was, well, hey, I already have cards now. I already like Yolt for what it is.
Sure.
And we were able to adapt to that. And that's the whole purpose of doing tests like that. That's all fine.
Yeah. So who would you consider the competition to be out there? And has that changed now that you've transitioned the product?
Well, I would say not. As in, the focus is still the same, right? So the focus is still being smart with your money. And that's where Yolt is all about, and that's where we drive for. So I think that the structure is still the same, and it's for us as Yolt also to see, okay, where can we help you the most, right? So no matter what segment you're on or what position you're in, we should be able to get for you the specific, the methods that we want to deliver for you. So if you say, okay, I want to save more, I want to save more specifically, or have more money over at the last day of the month, for example, we should guide you towards that specific step. So I think in all of those areas, the target audience is remaining the same for us. Yeah.
Okay, great. So now we're going to take a quick look at the start of the onboarding journey. So I'm just going to take a look at that now. So first, the user selects the country where their mobile is registered, seeing that lovely, that kind of lovely green that you associate with Yolt. And we also see some introductory carousels where we see what we're really signing up for. So we get a glimpse just to what we're going to sign up for inside of the app. Really nice, vibrant design there. And the create account CTA proceeds us through to the TNCs, privacy policies. And now the TNCs. Nice welcome screen there. And we can see the steps involved with some brief explanatory text. So we see the progress bar there at the top, which is common with some of the best onboarding. First and last name, separate screens. Was this onboarding evolved from testing, or is this kind of the way that you, in the relaunch late last year, is this how it was always designed?
I think we started with the initial step also from previous versions, and it did evolve over time. So what we need to do, okay, the main thing of course now is the how to get the Yolt account and the Yolt card. Mm-hmm. So it did evolve over time, and yeah, we're still looking, okay, how can we improve this?
And where do you see the most friction where people kind of tended to drop off during these onboarding?
Yeah, I think the main part is that because we're coming also from a different approach, I think now it's also a bit new is regarding the know your customer flow, the identification part, where the users need to scan a document, for example. So we need to explain, okay, what the benefit is and why they need to do this and why this is important for their security and all the details that are secure with Yolt as well. So there we see some friction, and there's still some parts that we definitely for sure can improve.
And you mentioned the ID verification bit. Do you rely on any third parties there?
Yeah, for verification, we use Fourthline at this moment. It's been a tool we've been using also before. So that's something, that's the tool we use, and they have also different parties, of course. So that's the third party we use for verification identity. Yeah.
In terms of the free card step, how was adding that section to the onboarding? Did that disturb the way it originally was, that presumably you smoothed out, and now suddenly you've got this new, quite prominent new feature? What was the reaction to that, and did that affect the way it was built?
We did see some, of course we changed it. So we keep changing that along the way, right? So we do see, but especially for new users, also new to the Yolt, they did, for example, they don't know the Yolt before, what we did. There we see quite a positive feedback. So they see, okay, this is the Yolt card that I need to have to save. So there's a very different approach from, let's, for example, existing users, where they come, okay, I want to aggregate all my accounts, which is still possible. And we added, in addition towards, we had the Yolt account and the Yolt card. But it's not where they initially came from. So there's a bit of change in how you approach this. And that's something, okay, we still look also with the community, okay, how can we improve this? How can we help you move forward in this journey? Because we're still there for you also to help you and save money. So that's very important for us to communicate this, and how can we do this better?
So for existing users that had already been using Yolt as an aggregation tool, how were they introduced to the new card and the features that go alongside with it?
Yeah, that was a gradual introduction. So these people, they were two groups. So the majority of the people, they already have done KYC in the previous Yolt. There we had a grace period, so the majority of the people had it, not all. But for those people, the onboarding flow was a bit easier, as they didn't have to go through that KYC flow. The introduction carousel at the beginning was also adapted to those users. There was more emphasis on that we are keeping the existing functionality and building on top of that, whereas with new users, we're more leading with the card and the account and the benefits coming with that. For the existing users, and that is actually something we figured out during the beta, we wanted to reassure them that all functionalities which we had in Yolt are still present there for Yolt, and that is the case. So that's an evolution over a revolution. So for existing users, more emphasis on the existing features. For the new users, that's really where we led with the card and the account. So that is the biggest difference.
And in terms of other third-party vendors, you've mentioned those involved with the ID verification. Were there any others that you partnered with when rolling out the prepaid card?
Yeah, so for the prepaid card, we went with PPS. PPS is a supplier that helps us with that, delivering that.
And how's that been? Has that been a very smooth partnership?
Yeah, I think for us it's super exciting to work with these partners to help us deliver different kind of proposition. So very positive about the experience that we have here, and also keeping that and bringing that to the user is very exciting for us.
So now we're going to take a look at the money jars, which is a key feature of the new Yolt account. So we're just going to take a look at that now. So we're being introduced to the money jar here, and we can see the different jar boosters. And we get another introductory carousel with Yolt style graphics and nice explanatory tips. Huge emphasis on saving as the core feature of the new account. And we can see it's a money jar challenge. So as the user saves, that dial goes up in a very prominent position on the screen. And also a active saving streak where the user can scroll horizontally and see how well they're doing. And now we can see the transactions relating to that money jar, as well as an ever-present save this week figure at the top. Very clean and spacious layout, and nothing really to be confused about there. So now it's the process of emptying a money jar. Through to the money jar screen, we can empty the money jar and we get a nice loading animation there. And some nice confetti as well to let us know that we've completed the process. Nice use of kind of colloquial, casual language there makes it a kind of really friendly feel and back to the saving screen. So there's a huge emphasis on saving there. And you've brought it up before, but is that the key feature of this prepaid bank account?
Yeah, that is the key job we want to help our customers with. Right? So we are known from our money management capabilities. This job we're now trying to serve is free up money, get people into the habit of saving.
Yeah.
Therefore, we looked into literature and science, and we adapted a few practices from behavioral design, practice from habits theory. And the theory we're following is tiny habits. So in order to start something new, get into a new routine, the best thing you can do is to make your habit as small as possible. So although the majority of the people get their income in monthly cycles and they budget in monthly cycles, we thought it was a good idea, and which we're able to validate, to trim that down to a weekly cycle and a weekly challenge in order to get people just into the rhythm of saving, freeing up a few pounds a week. If people are freeing up a few pounds a week, it's more likely that to continue next week, the week after, and the week after. So we want to make it as small as possible. Start with a tiny habit, and what we found is that that resonates well with people.
Absolutely, and you mentioned challenges there. There definitely seems to be a strong sense of gamification here, especially with those saving streaks. What was the thought process behind that?
Yeah, that is different theories, but positive reinforcement. So if you accomplish a certain challenge in 1 week, you're more likely to challenge yourself the next week again. We found in user interviews that for our target audience, the amount doesn't necessarily have to be that high for people save in a week. So we start really small with a challenge of around £10. People can adjust that to their liking. Again, we try to make that as small as possible to get people into the habit loop, which starts with a trigger, an action, and then a reward. By making it as small as possible in a weekly cycle, we are able to give back that reward within a week. And that's where the streaks come in. So if you look at the bar underneath, you see the ticks and the crosses. The more ticks you get, the more likely is that you challenge yourself again, and that's more likely that you increase your challenge to a higher amount. And that's the behavior we want to incentivize.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see the thought process there. Just really encourages that self-competition aspect that we're seeing more often in some of these apps. Also, the kind of casual and encouraging language there, I can see how that feeds into the playful UI you've got there, and the gamification as well. So it's a really nice direction that you're taking the product. In terms of the jar boosters, we caught a glimpse of them there. Could you talk us through some of them?
Yeah, well, we've got a couple, and we're thinking of adding even more. But the first one, which is default on and which is connected to the payments habit and to the Yolt debit card, is the roundup. So every transaction gets rounded up to the nearest pound. So you pay $1.95, 5 cents get added for your money jar. If you do that a couple of times, well, that does add up. So that's the first jar booster, default on, and it is attached to the spending behavior with the Yolt card. I think another one you also saw was the set saver. That is also one which is rooted in literature, where you can just start with small amounts. So you can set and save £1 each day, or £1 every week, well, to your liking. But the idea is to set small amounts on a frequency, and that's coming from the theory of, if you can improve yourself like 1% every day, that adds up over time. So just get into the habit of saving £1 a day, and that does add up over time.
And also, we saw also with users, right? So we did testing on this, and we saw that users directly liked this specific feedback, right? So they wanted to set up something personal for them, something they were excited and could look for. So we saw also with testing, we saw that people just like to go to that specific booster and say, okay, what fits my schedule best, and have their personalized saving method. So that really helps also with, okay, how do you get into the state of saving more and more?
And I can imagine it brings people back to the app again and again and again as well, which kind of reinforces their loyalty, I imagine.
Yeah, but we also tweaked some of the existing functionality we had. So we had a cashback offer in the app. You used to get an Amazon voucher. That was the mechanism of receiving your cashback. We now actually turn that into a jar booster as well. So every time you now get a cashback, that is actually money added to your money jar. Same applies for the introducer, which is, we had a referral scheme in place before. Also, you were rewarded with an Amazon voucher. Now you get rewarded with real cash into your money jar. So we now have an incentive for people to refer other people. And then both the one who does the referral as the one who receives the referral, they get a bonus added to the money jar.
I can see. That's a very nice way to play into it as well. Were there any other fintechs that you got some inspiration from when it came to the features or the design of them?
Yeah, I think we had a look at all of them, right? And in that sense, it is so we take the best parts and tweak them to our liking. So the inspiration is literally everywhere. But one thing we also found, of which I found interesting myself, is on the competition, is that the solution we provide dictates your competitors. So we tend to think that we're coming with a card, so you tend to think we're competing with Monzo, and we do, and with Horrevoets and there's fintechs. But more so, we also discovered that we are competing with note-taking apps on your phone, or even with Google Docs. Those are all tools people use to get themselves into the habit of saving. So looking at competition, yes, we did for sure, but we went even beyond that. For the gamification bit, we looked a lot at fitness apps. They are doing the same thing in a different industry than what we try to do, get people into the habit of exercising. So yes, we looked at competition, but we actually looked at in a really broad sense.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Actually, we've seen a kind of increased demand for analysis on specifically fitness apps, as you mentioned it, because they have those reinforcement elements and kind of touchback elements that I think you guys have laid out really nicely in your app. Am I right in saying that the money jar feature, this only works for the prepaid accounts? You can't set aside money using a payment initiation service provider, for example. This is only within the money stored in Yolt.
No, that's not entirely true. So the roundups, obviously, they work just on the Yolt card. But we still have the aggregation capabilities in the app. So we still are able to spot opportunities on your connected accounts, and we use that to trigger people. So we know when your salary comes in. We are smart enough. We got models in place to detect if there's any bonus money coming in. So if you get a salary increase or you receive a bonus, at those moments we prompt people to say, "Hey, we saw additional money. Is that a bonus?" And we ask them if that is money they want to put aside to their Yolt account. So half. So a lot of it is working on the Yolt account, but we still have all the smarts, and we use those smarts in place to detect opportunities on the connected accounts.
And in terms of the roadmap for Yolt, you've already come a very long way. But what does it look like from now on?
Well, we've been working on this for the vast majority of last year. We only in December start releasing this. So next 6 months, maybe even next 12 months is all about making this work. So we're really confident in that we found a problem, really confident that we have a solution for the problem. But as we all know, working in product, it's you don't get it right at the first time. So next months, next 6 months for sure, it will all be about optimization, iteration, listening to customer feedback, working a lot on the introduction and the education of our users. Right, there's a lot you can do in the Yolt app. We got that feedback. Right? There's a lot of we were building an additional layer to an app which was already quite complex. So we do have some explanation to do. And on those we do have a roadmap full of experiments and ideas which we gonna work our way through over the next months.
And also to that, I think it's super nice. So we launched this now since I think in the summer, and super nice to see what people do with this app, right? So how are they involving Yolt in their saving pattern? So for us, it's also super interesting to see, okay, how do they set up their method of saving, and how do they use Yolt for their saving pattern? So I'm super interested in, okay, what people are sharing with us also for, okay, yeah, Yolt really helped us with this or this or this. So we can also look into, okay, how can we integrate that further within our product and help people for specific reasons or make it very broad. So we're very excited to look into that and keep improving on that specific part.
I know you kind of touched upon it earlier, but have you found that you've now got two cohorts of users, one who were primarily wanted to use it for the aggregation, and then one that use it now for both, or are they increasingly starting to overlap?
Yeah, what we found in our research is that so we applying the job to be done framework, and we identified 3 jobs where we are helping our customers with. And what we found is that one job leads into the other job, leads into the other job. So it all starts with money management, right? That's also in the DNA of Yolt. That's where we're coming from. But that is for the vast majority of the users. That's the first job they do. What we found is if you ask people, hey, why is it that you want to manage your money better, and what is success of that, then people say, well, yeah, that is to have more money left at the end of the month than at the beginning of the month. So that goes into the second job we're trying to service, and that is free up money. And that is where this whole pivot of evolution is focused upon. But if you then ask people, hey, why is it why you want to free up money, and why do you want to change your money habits? And well, what people then say is, well, we do have big money goals. We do have money ambitions, dreams. People they want to buy a house. They want to save for a mortgage, for a deposit. That is the third job we're trying to service, so get people, enable people to reach big money goals faster or make those goals bigger. And what we see is that most of the users, they start with job 1. That's what we service. That's our challenge, to get them into the second job, and then gradually we try to get them into the third job. But for now, it is money management and free up money. That's what we are helping our users with.
Yeah, for sure. I think you've made that transition, but also kind of taking it a step further. You've done that really well, because I think normally with aggregation tools or personal financial management, it only gives you the information without being able to actually action it, which is what you guys have now enabled. So thank you so much for joining us today. That was really, really interesting. Can anyone find you on Twitter or LinkedIn?
Yeah, we can. I think both Daniel and myself here on LinkedIn, but you can also find Yolt on Twitter. Get Yolt @GetYolt. That's a Twitter account. We also have a LinkedIn page, so you find us there.
Amazing. Thanks so much, guys. So thanks for watching today's episode. If you haven't already, go follow 11FS YouTube channel so you never miss an episode of Homescreen. Also, if you want to see more journeys like this, head over to pulse.11fs.com to find out more. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.